Welcome to the Shedtime Podcast. I'm Anthony Ramella, aka the CBD Candy Connoisseur, and Exotic Leaf and I are proud sponsors. I gotta be blunt, folks, this show is dope.
All right, welcome back to the Shedtime Podcast, the premier counterculture podcast on the internet. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Premier means number one, just to let you guys know. Like
That's
that,
right.
I think that's what it is. It's number one.
Yeah. We are the top dogs, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If they don't know about us, that's their problem. We're still the top dogs. Yeah, shit. So if you guys have been paying attention, then you kind of already know what we're getting into, and shit, obviously you know what we're getting into, because you saw the fucking title before you clicked on this shit. So, I'm not even gonna fuck around. We talking about that music. And, yeah. I know we got some stories. I know I've had some cool concert experiences. I'm pretty confident you boys have all had some good ones too. So we're going to tell you guys some fun stories, relive some live music experiences. I mean, shit. That is the one thing I look forward to most about this whole end of pandemic shit is getting back to seeing live bands.
Yeah,
so,
feeling goosebumps in it.
Yeah. And now in this world where I have the potential to smoke weed in a venue while listening to live music more than just once a year, because I mean Boston Freedom Rally, we see live bands that smoke weed at that, but like to be able to be in an age now where we could potentially have those things happen coming up in the future, man. Oh, it makes me so excited, and I'm excited to hear from you guys about what you brought to the table today. So let's do the buffet, and Ashton's choking, so I'm not gonna throw it to him. I'm gonna throw it to Mr. Janklin. What'd you bring to the table today?
Actually, I got some new stuff today, man.
Ooh.
I got some new stuff today. Shout outs to if you guys did not catch last week's episode, we had our man Joe Kinko on, and we were chatting to him about some Dynavap stuff, some Assassin stems and Dynakegs. Well, I just so happen to have myself a new Assassin stem from Mr. Joe King himself with a nice little Dynakeg that I'm going to be testing out, a little bit here and there throughout the podcast. Of course, rocking a titanium Dynavap tip on there with the original 2019 Vap cap, just because that's just like my perfect setup. I really enjoy the titanium tip. Love the heating cycle. It heats up fairly quick, cools down fairly quick. Really enjoy it. And I gotta say, I just like the 2019 Vap cap the best out of all of them. It's just the one that I enjoy, man. Inside of this, I'm going to be rocking a little bit of some Mojave Reserve Kush Cake, testing it at a very nice 31%. So this is definitely going to, get me nice and stony. And I've also got a little bit left of some Prometheus coming in at a nice 28%. And I'm going to be throwing a little bit of some of that Venom OG Bubble Hash. Still got a little bit of that Bubble Hash laying around. I'll probably be throwing a little bit of that in there as well. And then towards the end of the podcast, I might throw down a dab or two. Got a couple concentrates here that I picked up from Jetpack. Got some Dosilato for my Indica. I've got some Star Cookies for my hybrid selection. And then I've also got a little bit of some Viper for my Sativa, little action there. And that's just going to be going out of my, thick-ass glass little 14 mil banger. Just my go-to. Got a little Terp Pearl rocking in there. And just in my my little spare rig, because I broke my awesome fucking recycler a couple weeks ago, and I'm pretty upset about it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to the Diamond Recycler, man. But I do have another one coming.
Well,
soon.
listen, all y'all smoking to us right now, put one up in the air for the broken glass.
One up for the Diamond Recycler, bro, for real. And as far as my vape selections go for this morning or evening or afternoon or whenever you guys out there are listening to us, I've got Shedtime. Shedtime Podcast, gotta rock Shedtime. Aspen Modco Monarch Parallel 2700 mechanical mod with that super clicky firing switch. Really enjoy this mod. Got a custom coated Turk V2 by our main man, Mr. Ashton Palmer himself. Got a nice satin black with some dope green.
Yeah, I honestly forgot I
galaxy
even did that
splattering
cap.
inlay. Yeah, dude. Honestly, I forget how many things that I have coded by you, bro. Like, cause I've got quite a few Turk caps that you've done over the years, dude. So inside of this, I do have some Breeze Stones, 26 gauge aliens that are just ripping and roaring with some Bule Belu on the inside.
Oh, fuck you. I wish I had some.
Next
Tell me
setup,
about it.
yeah. Next setup I've got is I'm actually rocking a little stack action this morning. Got the Nightmare 25 on top of the MDX 2.0 Countdown Pro stack.
God damn, that's sure to wake your ass up.
Oh yeah, dude. And let me just tell you, this butterscotch custard from my main man Overdrip from the testing grounds on these AJ Holland high ohm aliens are glorious. It's just, dude, it tastes so good, especially with this coffee right now, bro.
Dude, why did I just like
I don't wanna
totally
hear
think of
about it.
fucking
I don't wanna
Oprah
fucking
Winfrey
hear
right
about
there?
Yeah, right. But dude, it's awesome, loving it. And last setup, K Vapors 21700 Turk edition, RDA for Vaping on top. Got some semi nitro 28 gauge aliens with the wrap taken off to make them a little extra rowdy. And
crispy.
I've got a little bit more Sambule Bolu on the inside. So good, I'm vaping it twice. And that's it for me. What do you got, Ashton? What you rock with, bro?
Well, today I'm coming in with some new shit too.
Yeah, dude.
Because homeboy Duchess Coils, if you guys don't already follow him, please go follow Duchess Coils because he's just
Vape
an
like
ornery
royalty, man.
He's an ornery royalty asshole, but he's a cool dude. He's got a good heart underneath all that meanness that he puts off. But he sent me out a BB Vapes Tectonic stem with a new 2020 bowl and captive cap. Yeah, dude. I threw the old .aio tip on top of this
Dude,
thing.
it actually looks really nice.
Because
I like that.
you know, 510 drip tips are life, in my opinion, and what better way to like make that happen on a Dynavap stem? That just makes me very happy. And I've been using it for majority of this week, and I will have to say, it is my new favorite Dynavap to use dry. So I've used it through the bong, but I mean, I really love my Assassin for the bong. And I feel like this thing just hits me where I want it when I want to vape dry. So yeah, with that, going inside that, I got some last nug of the Runts from Loud out here in Washington. I don't really care for the name, but this batch of Runts is doing me right. So that's all I got. I'm going 5 days deep without any concentrates, you guys. I'm trying to not really change the way I smoke, but I'm just taking a break. I got 2 fancy Dynavaps that I own.
breaks are good.
Constant break, bro.
Yeah, so I'm just I'm enjoying the Dynavap thing right now and just trying to enjoy that for what it is and just enjoy some flowers for a while. And last but not least, I am just treading lightly with the vape setup stuff because that's just I really just honestly rock 1 or 2 mechs, you know, daily. But I figured I'd switch it up this morning. I got that AP Merle's Mod signature with that black and white ring, RDA for vaping on top, sea glass chop top from DHD, some 28s with a wrap taken off from Breeze Tone inside, and last but not least, topping it off with that Bottled Violence Toffee Custard because it's almost gone, and yeah, it's just dank. So that's what I got, you guys. Uncle Chris, what you throwing down?
All right. Well, I don't have any new stuff other than I got a new strain, which I'm pretty pumped about. So I actually was just trying to do some research on it. I honestly didn't find very much, but it's called Coffee Cake. It's coming in at a solid 24.2%. So that's pretty nice. It's a heavy indica hybrid, which, as you guys all know, I am all about that indica life. So I'm excited for that. And of course, I'm going to be using Dynavap. So I'm going to be rocking, I got a 2019 Phantom tip. And I'm going to be using just like the regular cap. And then I have the Tectonic stem, which just like Ashton, I've been really enjoying it a lot. I've had it for a little bit longer. And I still haven't really wanted to go back to the 2020 stem yet. I know that I will. But I'm really enjoying it, and much like him, dude, I have like a different drip tip in, And I don't even remember where I got this drip tip, but it's just the same stainless, and it just looks really good on there. And I am very used to putting a drip tip to my mouth, as opposed to like, it's not like the Dynavap, like the 2020 stem is uncomfortable. It's actually really comfortable, but it's just that familiarity that is just, it's like that normal feel, and I'm really digging it a lot. Plus, I mean, it looks pretty good on here, so that's another bonus. Uh, then, as when it goes for my vapey stuff, I actually have the heavy hitter with the layer cake on top. I got some semi nitro aliens inside that. I got a copper rose DHD chop top, and I actually switched it up. I was vaping something different, but now I'm vaping some Blaz Berry inside of that, and it's all right. I think that it is my least favorite Blaz, but I just happen to have all four of them, so I'm kind of working my way through the ones that I don't like as much towards the ones I do like as much, which is basically mango and melon. Those are my two favorite ones. Next setup, which I'm just gonna, I know, you know what? I'll say three setups. Next setup is my Trishul V2, custom coated by Ashton over there at palmerspowders.com. On top, I got the Nightmare 25 with some Breeze Tones 26s in there, and the liquid I'm rocking is some Testing Grounds Overdrip Vanilla Custard. And then my last setup, which I've been using all morning actually, I got the Gen Purple with the original Moonshot on top, with some Semi Nitro 28 gauge aliens in there, which I won't lie, were kind of difficult to get in there, but I got them in there and they're working super good. And I'm vaping something from Sean's neck of the woods. I got some icing on the flakes from North Shore Distro. It's the strawberry one, and it's a solid liquid. I don't know
does
if
it taste like cornflakes with strawberries in it?
Frosted Flakes, but
it's
with
more like,
strawberry.
like frosted flakes.
Bro,
like,
I fucking need that shit.
Like
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's
not great though. It's like it's all right. It's all right.
It's nothing to write home about.
I guess I've just been having a hankering for like a
like if
Frosted
you
Flake
see
shit.
it somewhere, I'd say why not try it. But I would not be like calling around trying to find it so I could go to that shop specifically.
Right.
And it's not even dogging it. It's just it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
You
There's
know,
nothing wrong with fine. There's a lot of bad stuff out there.
It vapes. It vapes good.
It's your buy.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, 100%. That's everything for me. So Sean, hit us with what you got, bro.
Well, the first thing I got is a little more info on your marijuana strain, sir.
Oh yeah, dude, I was looking. I didn't find any.
Yep, so this is from allbud.com, and Coffee Cake is a 75% indica, 25% sativa hybrid strain. You're looking at an average of 15 to 23% THC and 3% CBD, which I think is really exciting that this is a higher CBD strain.
But you're getting both of the best worlds, or three of the best worlds, like a sativa, a little bit of sativa in there too.
So that's extremely special right there. It says Coffee Cake is a rare indica dominant hybrid strain created through crossing the classic coffee and fire alien kush strains.
Ooh.
Alien kush, son.
So come on over and grab a slice of the delicious Coffee Cake. This gorgeous gal packs super sweet and spicy coffee flavor into each and every toke, almost like your favorite treat. The smell is a little more on the pungent side with a touch of earthiness to it that adds richness and depth. The Coffee Cake high definitely isn't one that will wake you up, with effects that are deeply relaxing and best suited for nighttime. You'll feel deeply relaxed throughout the duration of this high, with a calming physical stimulation that will leave you couch locked and slightly aroused.
Oh,
yeah!
Boys, get ready!
Yeah! Oh boy!
Bro.
So this quickly turns sedative, leaving you drifting away into a deep and peaceful sleep full of hazy, happy visions. With these effects and its high 15 to 23% average THC level and potent 3% CBD level, Coffee Cake is the perfect medicinal strain to treat anyone suffering from insomnia, chronic pain, depression, muscle spasms or cramps, and chronic stress or anxiety. Coffee Cake bud have oversized, dense, olive green nugs with rich purple undertones, dark orange hairs, and a coating of frosty, thick amber crystal trichomes, which, that looks exactly like the nug you showed us.
Yeah, dude, and when I was at the dispensary, I even said to the bud tender, I was like, "Yo, dude," I was like, "I need an indica, and like, do you got anything that's like relaxing and whatever?" He's like, "I got this." It's like, check this out,
dude.
I'm gonna just say this. I'm
craving
always
it now.
jealous. I'm always jealous of like Uncle Chris's lucky come ups on like rad strains.
Bro,
like Canada,
right?
Canada knows what the fuck is up, dude.
That for fact.
it's
All right,
never
that
bad
that
up
is
here, dude.
that
I've
is
known that
something.
since I was a kid, but still,
Right?
But
Like
still.
BC Beasties, man. When I was a kid growing up, like any of the BC Bud that was coming out was always like the fire. That was the shit you read about in High Times. So like, yeah, Canada's always had great weed, and apparently even in the legal system, they've got the great weed game on lock, and that's exciting as
It's
shit.
always rolling too. I love it. That, you know what? That's one of the like the most fun things about going to the dispensary, because I know a lot of people that just order it from home. But I like going in because, like, number one, I get to talk to people that know more than me, because the shop that I go to, like, all the people that I deal with, they're always like really well versed, and they always like really help me with what I know, or what I want rather, because I do know some that I can together with them really cater to what I want, and I fucking love it. It's great.
Shout out to all the good bud tenders out there in the world putting in the work.
Shout out to
Helping
Healing
people.
House and fucking.
And if you're a bud tender
Alderville,
that
bro.
just like ushers people out, like, fuck you, go get a different job.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
shit pisses me off. It's happened to me time and time again in Washington, and it's just bullshit.
Well, we said it here before, we'll say it always again. Cannabis and the vape industry are so much alike.
True.
Facts.
True.
So getting into what I brought to the table, I'm going to start off at the vape shit. In honor of our dear friend Mark, whose anniversary was yesterday, I pulled out the hammer, been rocking the hammer all weekend. So I got the Warlock's hammer number 40, that stunning red, just all red mean box, through the rye at 1.2 on top because the blacks, and then of course a blood money chop top because, black on red and black on red. Shout out to Mark. We love and miss you dearly. And inside of that, I'm doing some weird shit, right? Because like times is tough right now, trying to really conserve and stretch my e-liquid supplies and everything. So I got this, got that shorty I was vaping over there on the Friday night Green Room show over there on Frames Janklin Vapor Channel on YouTube, and getting to the end of that. So I'm also mixing
Ooh,
in.
It's in a glass bottle.
Yeah, I happen to have. I happen to do photography for this company years ago. So, but this is, back in the glass bottle days. So I had zeros for that sitting in my house still. And a good friend of mine out of California happened to send me a couple bottles of their liquid. And I was able to mix them together just to stretch the supply. Now, to stretch this supply here, I've been mixing it with some of this 0 milligram bottled Violence vanilla custard.
Oh, never a bad call.
So now I'm getting extra vanilla creaminess into a strawberry shortcake. It's not hurting. Sure, my nicotine supply's a little low in this setup, but that's why I'm doing it over here on this one, because I've got the Vaporesso and my little Amit MTL tank, but I'm not doing super high nic right now. I'm running one of those Breeze Tone MTL coils, and if you know the Breeze Tone MTL coil, you know it's rowdy.
You can run that bitch at 30 watts.
Dude, I
all
rock that
day.
restricted direct lung all
That's
the time.
and that's
bro.
what I'm doing. I'm restricted direct lunging in the Amit right now.
Bangering.
And shout out to my homie, just a couple doors down. He hooked me up with some Sabores del Encanto, Bizcoco de Peña al Revés, the pineapple rum upside down cake.
Fucking, that's the best one.
Oh my
in my
god,
opinion.
Damn,
this.
you pronounced that perfectly.
Well, better than me. That's good.
For one, I live in a Hispanic community. For
Apparently-
two, my wife
apparently
works
I'm
in a Mexican
Hispanic
restaurant.
myself, but I can't speak it.
So, and being that my father was raised in Southern California, and then later moved to Texas in his life, he has a lot of experience with Mexican speaking Spanish.
Interesting.
And so growing up my whole life, I kind of was learning like Mexican Spanish around the house through that.
Well, you were learning real Spanish. You weren't learning what they taught you in school, which they can't teach you in school because they can't teach you slang.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Is it like the reason I say it the way I say it is because Mexican Spanish is distinctly different from Spaniard Spanish. And when you're in school and you're learning Spanish, you're learning Spaniard Spanish, as in Spain. Whereas Mexico has taken that Spanish from, Spanish conquistadors doing their thing, in history, but also mixed it with these other Latin American languages from South America. And so what you've got is these combinations. It's kind of like Portuguese, right? Portugal's over there with Spain. However, Brazil speaks a type of Portuguese, but it's like a completely different type of Portuguese.
Yeah, dude.
Weird.
It's like Quebec versus France.
Right.
Like France speaks real French. Quebec, they speak Quebecois.
Yeah.
They don't really speak. Like, it's like a totally different French.
It's like a broken French.
No, it's just, I'm sure that someone from France would call people from Quebec, they would be like, they sound like Hicks.
Yeah,
like,
they're
that's what
sloppy
they say.
speakers is usually the attitude.
Gotcha.
It's like they consider it a
It's like we
bastardized.
speak a different English than each other, and we also speak a different English than where English
England
is from.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like they
Exactly.
speak the Queen's tongue, we do not.
Exactly. And so,
Coming down with the history on you motherfuckers.
boom! Shedtime Podcast. We're more than just a bunch of
In
potheads.
the last 15 minutes, I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, boys. So back to rolling. I got that Dynavap. It's the Hydrovong. I love my Hydrovong because it came pre-assembled to fit a 14 millimeter downstem, and I'm a glass addict with lots of things with 14 millimeter downstems. So it's match made in heaven for this guy. And you know what? I'm doing titanium tip in a 2020 captive cap. Because I like that the captive cap just kind of slows down that heating process. I can get one, maybe two more reheats out of it compared to my 19.
I have a question for you guys. You guys ever run into a problem where your captive cap doesn't click?
Had that happen? Yes. I had that happen when I first got this new one.
Because that happens to mine 2 out of 3 times that I use it. That's why I don't use mine.
I had to I had to break mine in. Is the way I would say.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mine did that at the beginning quite a bit.
I'm gonna have to just sit here with an empty bowl and just run.
That's kind of what I did. The other thing I did too is because my captive cap, everybody knows it has that little bit of float to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that it actually clicks on there. You know what I mean? And it's kind of got that little free spin. You know what I mean?
But when I first got it, I also had to give it a little bit of a pinch where the little indents are, just to give it a solid grip, because it wasn't taking a full solid grip in the very beginning. Now, dude, it's a champ. Now that it's had plenty of time to expand and contract from use, it holds nice. I can hold it by the cap. I never have a worry, and I don't think I've experienced a single click misfire type thing, because once in a while I would have it just click once.
Yeah, because there were times where mine wouldn't click at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I got this Phantom 2019, I find that even with the stock 2020 cap, it will click super quick in succession. So sometimes I'm on did that click twice? Because they'll go click click really really quick. Where on the 2020 stem and the 2020 bowl, the same cap would never be the same as it is now. It would be a click, a delay, a click, and then a 1 count, and then a click. This one sometimes they're right on top of each other.
I was gonna say even it kind of depends on if you're using an induction heater or if you used a torch. I find that out and about, at work I use a torch constantly. And I feel the torch, and then with your flower in it, kind of resonates the inside of that cap. Or kind of, gets it a little dirty in there, and then it starts to click better, in a sense. I don't know, it's getting broken in.
I find with the induction heater, you actually can hear the click louder, because I feel it clicks and it resonates through the plastic, the box.
I think you're right about that, too.
For sure.
And, because we continue to get sidetracked, because that's what potheads do, I got runts. I still got that runts in here, and it is fucking fire. Runts has that right balance of sativa and indica for me, because I say it all the time. I start climbing out of my skin, climbing the walls if I'm on too strong of a sativa, and this one's enough to keep me creative, to keep me active, to keep me engaged. But also be relaxed and be able to collect my thoughts and speak like a normal human being, and not look at somebody and be like gabaji baba abadawa.
I'm getting like mad, like grape ape, but like cake mixture with it.
I feel you. I get like a strong like berry terp.
Yep.
And then there's like this earthy note that hits me that like I can best describe in my world maybe as like damp dewy morning in the forest. That smell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that just real clean, fresh earthiness.
It's almost like if you like picked up like a rotting log and like looking for potato bugs or some shit, you kind of get that smell.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Which, come on now, like if you close your eyes and you taste that in your weed, you almost can go back to like being a kid and playing with friends like hide and seek or some shit in the woods. Like,
yeah, dude, or going camping.
Yeah,
like,
dude, waking up first thing in the morning to like take a piss when while you're out camping in the woods. Exactly, like. You can almost relive that experience just from the flavor, and who doesn't want to get flashbacks like that? And speaking of flashbacks, let's give you guys a flashback and hear these damn commercials you keep hearing, and we'll be right back.
Hey Shedheads, it's Anthony, the CBD candy connoisseur. Exotic Leaf is so excited to announce an awesome new program they have for shops and entrepreneurs. Our new white label program can take any business name or logo and transform it into a CBD candy brand you can be proud of. You already know Exotic Leaf makes the best tasting CBD gummies, so let's work together to give your customers a product they will love with your name they already trust. For more information, just email me, Anthony at exoticleafusa.com. That's XOTICLEAFUSA.com.
Dynavap. Looking to cut the cord on your dry herb vape? Dynavap. Trying to get the best taste from your herb? Dynavap. Ready to take your sesh to the next level? Then meet Dynavap, the best way to vape your flower or concentrate. Concentrates? That's right, your flower or hash can be vaped using Dynavap. Check out Dynavap.com to learn more. That's Dynavap.com. Lose the ash? Dynavap.
What's going on, Shedheads? It's your boy Frames Janklin. Are you looking to step up your match game or have a raw copper, brass, or stainless mod or RDA that you're absolutely tired of polishing? Then you need to go and hit up my man Ashton of Palmer's Powders. He does some absolutely amazing powder coating work. He offers many different colors and finishes at an absolutely killer price. This man is taking powder coating to a whole new level, and he can make your setup an absolute masterpiece. You can go follow him over on Instagram at Palmer's Powders, and you can go check out pricing on his website, palmerspowders.com. That's palmerspowders.com. And as always, let's just vape on, Shedheads.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sean Typhon, the Angry Hippie, and I'm back at it again. We're here today to talk about Unicorn Vapes Inc., a fantastic Canadian company who's making outstanding vape hardware. If you're looking for a fantastic, high-quality mechanical device or an excellent RDA, and you're looking for it at a fantastic and affordable price, look no further than Unicorn Vapes Inc. You can get your Unicorn Vapes Inc. products at areliquid.com. That's areliquid.com. Check them out today.
I want you to think of your favorite rebuildable right now. Yeah, okay, so you have a layer cake in your hand, and now you're about... Oh, sorry, yeah, that's not everyone's favorite. That's just mine. So think of your favorite rebuildable atomizer. Think about how good of a vape it produces for you. Now, take that and amplify it. And the way that you amplify that is you put in some Breezestone coils. Breezestone coils are handcrafted in Adelaide, Australia. They're made from some of the finest quality wire that you can get. I believe it's wire Buddha. You take those coils, you take them out of that phenomenal packaging that clearly shows how much care that Adam puts on the quality of his coils and the insurance that you get them in good shape. You put them in that favorite RDA, and guess what? You have coils that now sing better than Celine Dion. Go check out Breezestone Coils. You can find them on localvape.com and also steelvalleyvapors.com. Solid.
All right, welcome back, and I hope you guys are ready because the tunes are about to get talked about. You know what, dude? We said it at the beginning, like, I fucking miss experiencing live music so goddamn much. I mean, shit, the last live concert I was physically at was on an Easter Sunday a couple years back, and it was a reggae tour that was coming through. Our friend, you guys might remember him, the hippie from Dank Street, Mr. Chris.
Oh yeah.
He was working merch for one of the bands on the tour, so he was able to get us on the 2 New England dates to come shoot photos and video and stuff. So anybody who's ever followed my Instagram and seen like some of these black and white photos of like these dudes up on stage playing guitar or whatever, that's from that tour. And that was like literally the last time I've been in a concert hall experiencing live music. And obviously, you know, that for me was more of a working experience. I was there to shoot photos and some video and stuff like that. And that was great. But as a fan, dude, just as a fan, going to live music is something that has been such a part of my life, you know, being a performing artist, obviously seeing tons of artists that I've played with and tried to play with. But Uncle Chris, because you brought this up to us in our initial conversation, you brought up the whole first concert experience thing, and that to me is a great place to start because, like, man, I'm always interested to hear what people's first concerts were because they're usually like not what I would paint you as. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I think that for lots of people, right? Like, I think that for lots of people, their first concert might be as they're coming of age, or it could be like as they're like carving out what kind of music they're gonna want.
Right.
You gotta fall in love with music before you can figure out what part of music you love. And so like I'll just jump right into like what my first experience was. So I was like one of those kids. I think that it was partly because like I have a brother that's 5 years older than me, right? So lots of stuff I started to get into earlier than a lot of my friends, because things that my brother would do, I'd want to do. So when my brother was probably like 15 years old, 14, 15 years old, he started to like listen to more music, and like our bedrooms were side by side, and like he'd be like bumping to some music, whatever, and like I would be like 9 years old, and I'd be like, oh, that's cool, like I like music. And so I remember like I would get a bunch of CDs or like cassette tapes, to be completely honest with you. Like my first few things were cassette tapes, and then I ended up getting some CDs. But so I was getting into music probably like around like 1989, 1990. And my brother loved like a bunch of stuff that I still have like this soft spot for. But it was like the new wave kind of stuff. And like my brother really liked like The Cure, but then he'd also, or like the Smiths, he liked them, but then he also liked some shit like The Cult, and he would like get down with like 9 Inch Nails and shit like that. So a lot of that stuff, that's kind of like how I'd like, I guess, came into the music scene, right?
Your older brother was into a lot of goth rock.
Yeah, which is weird because my brother was also the dude that would wear like flares, like you know what I mean?
That's a trip.
Like it's so strange. And
he's
wear,
into
like,
a lot of
flares
goth
and, like,
rock.
what was that, like Benetton sweaters and shit? Like that was my brother. But yeah, so I did really enjoy music pretty early. So I kind of knew that I liked music by the time I was like 10 or 11, because I would spend my like allowance or like paper route money and I'd buy shit. So the first time that I was allowed to go to a concert, I was actually like 13, or I might have just turned 14. And it was at this amusement park that's close to me. I think I was actually 13, 7th grade. Yeah, grade 7. And so there's this huge like place. It was like a Six Flags. It's called Paramount Canada's Wonderland, but when I was a kid, it was just called Canada's Wonderland, which it might actually be called now. I can't remember. Paramount owned it for a bit, and they had this like outside amphitheater, and it was called Kingswood Amphitheater. And I remember whenever I go, you'd walk by and it would be like coming up and all whatever, like whatever band it was, it would be like showing it on like the big placard in front of it. So in the days it wasn't open, but it would be open for concerts lots of times in the summer. And so my brother had started listening to the Bare Naked Ladies probably when I was like 10, 11, before they started to get big at all. They were like still like these like street performers, and
Before they turned out to be Canada's like #2 export.
yeah, like behind like Nickelback, they're probably one of the best selling bands, I'd say, like in America for sure. Maybe not worldwide. There might be like Rush worldwide would be like way more.
I don't know, man, because I don't know a lot of fucking soccer moms that fuck with Rush the way they fuck with Bare Naked Ladies.
Well, that's true. That's true. And so he got me into them before Gordon, which was like their first like full official like EP. And so when Gordon came out, I was probably in grade 7, and they happened to be playing at Kingswood Music Theater, and so none of my like dude friends wanted to go, and not because they thought that Bare Naked Ladies was like hurting, they just didn't care about music at all. Like they would be like, yo, I can just stay at home that night and play video games and drink Coke. Like, why would I go to a theater and watch like an amphitheater and watch music? So I ended up going with like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 girlfriends, and we got there and I was so pumped because I knew everything that they did, and like I'd read a bunch of stuff on them like through do you guys remember like zines and shit? Yeah, so like I used to like collect those things, and I would like go and read in the paper and classifieds, and I would try to find them, or if I ever was downtown, I'd like go into music shops and sometimes they'd sell them. So I knew like everything about the Bare Naked Ladies at this time. And so we went, and for that week I was buzzing so hard because like, dude, like so many firsts happened while listening to that. Like the first time like I kissed a girl was like at some party in like grade 6 or whatever, and like one of the songs from that album was on, and you're like slow dancing in somebody's fucking basement. You know what I mean? Like, so it meant a lot to me. And so we got there, and I was just so pumped, and we had like really good seats because there's like seats and then there's a lawn in behind, like a lot of amphitheaters probably have. And we were sitting there, and so it was like me and like 4 or 5 girls, and like we're just getting ready, and there's like a couple opening bands I can't remember anything about before they came on. And then they came on, dude, and it was just like this crazy feeling of like something that you'd put so much time into. Getting to experience that live is crazy, right? And that was like my first thing. Like I'd been to like some bullshit like Sharon Lois and Bram, which was like a kid's like sing-along thing, but that's not the same as something that you choose to do when you're like, you feel like you're growing up, when you're like 13, you're like, yo, dude, I'm 13, I'm allowed to like roll wherever I want, when the sun's up. Like, this is dope. And I just remember like hearing it all, and like, dude, with them, because they had like all these kind of not like gimmicks, but they're kind of gimmicks. So like when they played If I Had $1 Million, dude, there's just like tons of people throwing craft dinner like on the stage, because they said like in the song, it's like what I would eat craft dinner because it's good or whatever. And like everyone's just throwing fucking craft dinner, and it was like raining down macaroni noodles and shit because I was close. So like we were getting fucking pelted with shit, and it was such a cool experience. And like not only that, but there was these kids that were like probably, I don't know, in their like late teens in front of us, and they're like smoking joints and shit. And I took a couple of toots, and it was like not the first time that I tried it, but like outside in public around so many people, it was probably the first time I ever really like indulged, you know what I mean? And I remember just from that point forward, it's like everything became even bigger. And when we left, like the whole way out, because you had to like walk out of the park, and then you get picked up in the parking lot. So like somebody's parents were there to pick us up. The whole way out, dude, like all of us were so pumped, and we were like singing and doing all this like just craziness, like running, jumping off benches, like just because the energy was so high, you know what I mean? And I want to say that like from that point, I went on like a crazy amount of trips just to do that again. Like, I would do whatever I could. I would like work, do this, do that. I would wait in lines to try to get concert tickets. Like, and this is probably a little bit different than it would be today. But like, I was a kid that lived like half an hour away from downtown Toronto. So I'd just jump on a bus and I'd take a bus to another bus and then get on the bus to the subway. And then I get on the subway and then I'd go downtown, like right downtown. And dude, my parents would let me do that when I was like 14. Like once I was in like grade 8, they'd be like, yeah, that's cool. They'd be like, you got to come home straight after the concert. And I would be pretty good with that until I was about 15 or 16. Then I would not come straight home. And I'd probably end up like taking like the Blue Night bus, and me and like whoever I was with would walk, because the last stretch of bus would not come up there that late, because I did live kind of in the further out section. And yeah, dude, from that point forward, like I would search it out. I would just search out any kind of live music, because of that first experience was so, it was euphoric, dude. As like a little 13-year-old kid, it was like the most incredible thing that I'd ever experienced. Like it felt cooler being there than just going to like a Toronto Maple Leafs game, because
Right.
I knew that I could always go and see the Toronto Maple Leafs if I wanted to spend the money. You know what I mean? Or go to the Blue Jays if I had the money.
Well, that
But
and your sports
concerts
team
of
can let you
here-
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
You know, your
exactly.
sports
You're
team
never
can
gonna go to a
lose.
show unless it's like Guns N' Roses or something, and they just wouldn't come on for 4 hours, which at the
Yeah.
same time would make it kind of dope, because when they did come out, you'd be like,
Well, I mean, let's be honest. That was a bad choice, because Axl Rose is a douche who has literally walked off stage after like one
Yeah.
song.
yeah, dude.
But your point is still valid.
we still get where you're going with that. for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like ultimately it was just one of those experiences that like shaped me, and that's why like I suggested it, because that was what allowed me to fall in love with live performances.
Dude,
It,
I mean,
it opened up other things too. Like I would enjoy going when I was in high school. You know, you'd go to somewhere and you for school, and you'd have to go watch like a symphony, or you'd go watch like
Yeah.
a
Right.
musical, and it allowed me to enjoy that, because I would get into the experience.
Dude, yeah, I went and did a lot of that, sort of like went and saw like orchestras and shit like that a lot when I was younger, because little to be known, I was in like marching band and shit when I was in like middle school and high school. You know, I've always been into music, you know what I mean? And I wanted to play it, and I wanted to learn how to play multiple different instruments. I didn't care what it was, and I didn't care what people thought. I just wanted to learn how to play, dude. Because like music's just that big of a part of my life. And we would go to like Disney Music Hall in Los Angeles, you know, like the crazy dope fucking building that you see. Like we went there like after it was like freshly built, and went and saw like some dope ass orchestra fucking play inside of this fucking building that's built for that type of situation, where it's like the sounds and everything just like bounce off the walls in the right directions, to where everything just sounds so much bigger than, you know, however many people's actually there. Dude, that shit right there, dude, is an experience, bro.
Oh, everyone should do it for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Like, even if you're not into that type of music, just go to feel it, bro. Because like you feel the music in that sort of situation.
well,
you know what I
and
mean?
you'd be surprised too, because nowadays, like, a lot of these orchestras, they're thinking smart. They're thinking for people who aren't into it, and so they're
Yeah.
doing things like the work of John Williams in Star Wars. So you're literally
yeah.
hearing the whole Star Wars score from the original trilogy. You can
Exactly.
identify with it.
Exactly. And then like when we went, they played like a bunch of scores from Disney movies, because, you know, we were like in middle school kids, you know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh yeah, this will be perfect. And honestly, it was pretty fucking cool, you know what I mean? Because you would hear these songs that you listened to as a child being played in front of you by all these fucking and you'd be like, oh, so these are all the instruments that they use to make this song type of thing, you know what I mean? But then like as I got older, like I didn't go to my first like official like band concert until like I think my like sophomore year. And believe it or not, it was in this like little hole in the wall fucking spot in downtown Victorville. I went and saw the fucking Plain White T's, bro. Fucking Hey There Delilah, bro. It was like right as that album came out, they played downtown, and my buddy's like, hey dude, it's like I got some tickets to go see this fucking Plain White T's and at the Trilogy Theater, dude. You wanna go? He's like, a couple chicks are going, you know what I mean? Let's go. And I was a sophomore in high school, bro. I was like, chicks? Yeah, dude. I don't care who's playing. I want to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like my first concert. No one ever really invited me to go anywhere. He was I think he was a senior or something like that. Like one of my buddies in band, you know, who I thought was kind of cool. You know what I mean? He invited me, you know, and I was like, all right, yeah, dude, I'm down.
Oh, cool.
You know, it made me feel cool because I was so insecure at the time, dude. If anybody asked me to do anything, I was like, yeah, dude, let's go. You know what I mean? Because fuck, you asked me to go. Someone asked me to do something. Yeah, let's do it. But anyway, so we go to this fucking concert, dude. It's literally this fucking tiny little theater, bro. And they had this motherfucker packed, dude. Like, you're sitting in there and you're like shoulder to shoulder with people, dude. Like, there's no really walking space in this. Like, we're definitely over like the limit of people that are supposed to be in it. Yeah, because there's like, you go outside and there's like a fucking group of fucking people even outside, dude, and like in the back.
It was like the time where
no wonder why this place ended up getting shut down eventually, because they
probably dude, I need a 15-minute heads up if I need to go to the washroom. Thanks,
so
Bobby.
They were up on the stage, which is just like this tiny little fucking stage up in the corner. Fucking terrible lighting. The sound was like so fucking loud because it was just this tiny little fucking area that was packed full of people, and they had these motherfuckers cranked, dude. Like, it didn't matter if you were by the stage. I would be surprised if you could fucking hear anything by the time you left. Like, it was that, like, and I'm not just saying that because this is my first like, it was legitimately that fucking loud, dude. But like, it was pretty fucking crazy, dude, because this is my first experience. You know, it was like a bunch of kids, you know, around my age, a little bit older, you know, some people, you know, the drinking age and shit like that. And of course I wasn't at that age, but somehow I ended up getting a beer, you know. I was like, yeah, dude, this is sick. You know what I mean? I didn't care what eventually I got into the music just because I was fucking having a good time. You know, I was there with my buddy. There's fucking chicks there throwing their fucking bras and shit on the stage. I'm like, dude, this is fucking
awesome. This what music's like? Oh my God.
Is this what it is? And then like, this is like at that same point where I was myself learning, I was teaching myself to play guitar, and I was doing like that singer-songwriter type thing. You know what I mean? Like, I was listening to music sort of. I wasn't a huge Plain White T's fan. I knew some of their songs, but of course I knew how to play this song because I knew how much the chicks loved this song. You know, that's what I was doing. Yeah. Like, I wasn't learning songs necessarily for me. I was learning songs that I knew that chicks liked. You know what I mean? So I was learning like the Bruno Mars.
Good move to impress people too.
Dude, like, yeah, I was learning like the Bruno Mars songs, and you know, like those types, but I was putting my own fucking spin on them. You know what I mean? I was kind of giving them maybe like a little, you know, kind of ska reggae type feel on certain ones, or kind of, you know, like a more of a, you know, bluesy, you know, jazzy type. You know, I wasn't playing it exactly how it, but anyways, that's besides the point. And then like the next concert I went to after that, oddly enough, fucking Bruno Mars in Vegas, when Janelle Monáe opened up for him. And dude, let me tell you this, bro. If you guys don't necessarily like Bruno Mars and like his music, watching this motherfucker be on stage, goddamn, this dude's a showman, dude. Like, his shows were like legit, dude. Like, he had me up and I was moving, bro, the entire show.
Yep.
Not only that, but Janelle Monáe beforehand, dude. No one's heard of her before, she's pretty fucking sick too. She opened up with like a Michael Jackson cover, and dude, killed it.
Fucking house.
Killed it, dude. That shit was legit. That was one of the biggest concert experiences I've ever been to. A show in fucking Vegas. We spent the entire weekend out there. Of course, I wasn't even 21, so it's like I couldn't even do anything fucking cool. Of course, I got shit faced in the hotel room because like we brought a bunch of shit with us. I was walking the strip by myself with a fucking red Solo cup at 3 a.m. trying to do something, but I couldn't get in anywhere. So I was like, what the fuck am I even doing, dude? But dude, it was fun though, dude. It was an experience, man. It was like that was fucking sick. And then like after that, I was like, dude, I want to go to more concerts and shit. And then I didn't end up going to another show or anything really until like, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I went to Ozfest, like one of the ones, like the last Ozfest that they were doing. Zach Wilde played with Ozzy and Sabbath, And fuck it, dude. I went with my family. My dad was there. My brother was there. My uncle and like a bunch of like my cousins and shit like that. And one of my cousins, he's he's a shedhead. You know what I mean? He smokes the reefer. So like beforehand, we were at my uncle's house, who's pretty religious guy. Shout out to my fucking uncle Joe. I love my uncle Joe to death, dude. One of the funniest dudes you'll ever meet in life, dude. I swear to God. But we're up at. I never thought I'd be doing this at his house though. We're up at the top floor of his house, out on like this little fucking balcony, sitting there at the table. It's like me, my cousin Jimmy, and like 2 or 3 other my cousin. I don't remember. There was like 2 or 3 of us up there, and we're just sitting there, fucking like a assembly line, bro, rolling dubs, dude. Just sitting there. One of them's breaking them up. The other one's picking out all the stems and stuff, and I'm just sitting there twisted, dude. I'm just rolling, dude. We ended up with a baggie just full of fucking joints, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. We probably had like 20, 30 of them by the time. We sat there for like 10 minutes and just rolled dubs, dude. And we ended up getting them. We ended up getting practically all of them in. I don't know who fucking snuck in, but I think my cousin Jimmy did. But I'm sitting there and I'm at a concert with my uncle and my dad and my brother and stuff, and I'm sitting here smoking dubs in the fucking in the crowd, just like out in the fucking, because it was at Glen Helen or San Manuel Amphitheater, I think is what it's called now. And it's just like out on the grass, just sitting there fucking blowing joints, fucking watching dope ass fucking like metal music and shit. And then fucking sitting there at night, sun goes down, Sabbath's up there just fucking killing it, dude. Just ripping. That was probably one of my best fucking experiences right there, for sure. Was going to fucking Ozfest, seeing a few bands that I've never heard of before, seeing some that I have heard of but never seen live. And dude, it was pretty dope, man. Because I'm not necessarily that's not like my favorite type of music, but I love some Sabbath, you know what I mean? I love some some metal from time to time. I like some that heavier type of stuff. But there's some bands that I never heard of, but dude, when they were up there on stage, we're fucking killing it, dude. There's this Swedish band. I don't know what the fuck their name was, dude, but they were fucking crazy.
Dimmu Borgir?
I don't know, dude. I wouldn't be able to remember. It was one of them crazy names, But dude, it was epic.
Oh man,
it makes me want to go to another one now, just talking about it, because it's been so long. Dude, after we talk about, dude, I have a question after this. It's I think this is something that we talked about before. I want to know what an epic lineup for everybody would be.
I just had to look up the Ozfest that I went to because I just couldn't remember what year it was. I went to 2001. So that was the year that Black Sabbath headlined, and it was the original Black Sabbath. So Iommi and everybody was playing, which, to be fair, was not that spectacular, unfortunately. But yeah, that was incredible because that was the year Manson was on there, Slipknot was on there. Who else was on this? Black Label, Mudvayne, so many crazy bands.
The year I went was one of those years when it was the transition between fucking what was it? Ozfest and Not Fest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was when they were passing the torch type thing.
See, my first concert was, similar to you. I went to a couple of things like musicals and symphonies and stuff as a younger child through school and things like that. Yeah. My grandparents even took me to see the Boston
I went and
Pops.
Saw Cats, bro. I seen Cats.
Yo, yeah, dude, I saw Cats, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It's different.
I've seen a couple musicals. I don't remember what other ones, but that's the one that always pops up because it was terrible and kind of scary at the time.
But I remember the first real concert. I too was 13, and my father got tickets for us to go see Deep Purple.
Oh
yeah, this is 1998. I think was the year. 98, 99. Deep Purple that year dropped 2 albums back to back within a few months of each other, so they were touring on both of them simultaneously. And the original lineup was Ted Nugent, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and then Deep Purple.
God damn, dude.
So, all right,
rang, dude.
Right.
Fuck.
So now
talk about a hippie fest.
Dude, so here we are.
I'll smoke to that.
We're getting amped up for it, and then all of a sudden we find out Ted Nugent has to cancel.
Wow.
And we're like, oh man, that's a bummer.
Heartbreak.
So they get replaced by this relatively unknown band at the time, and we weren't really sure who they were, but we found out like the day of that the band was called Dream Theater. Yeah, they were just some relatively unknown band. They at the time were touring on their only third album. So like they were, still coming up in their world. They weren't like huge like they are now,
bro. That's dope.
I mean, that's it. This is like they're opening their first stadium tour, I think, at that stage. So 5th, 7th row, something like that, super close. Because the concert place that we went to for this, they called the Great Woods at the time, which it's one of those big outdoor amphitheater type of venues. And we were like, within the first 10 rows or so. So like crazy first experience getting to see this band Dream Theater, which I became a huge fan of immediately. Emerson, Lake and Palmer never really stuck with me, and then that Deep Purple set just kind of like set it off. From there, I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to get into rock and roll music. I was already finding music early on, before that, but like you were saying, Chris, the taste is all over the place.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm still all over the place. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more refined. You know what I mean? Like there's things within certain genres that I don't necessarily dig, but there's certain genres that I definitely like more than others now than before. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was at that age, I didn't even understand genres yet and like
yeah,
styles of
I was
music.
like, wait,
I was just like
music, bro.
Yeah, I was like, Dr. Dre is cool, but so is Cat Stevens, and so is
Dude,
Mariah
I like
Carey.
Dr. Dre and Garth Brooks, don't you?
You know what I mean? Right. And that was the thing, is like I was still all over the place. I hadn't really refined my taste to figure out what they really were. And after that concert, it was like, yeah, okay, now I know what I want, what I like, what I don't like. Like, I want to be into music.
Dude, you know what? Okay, I'll wait. I'll save this.
Yeah, because like I gotta know about Ashton's first.
Stuff, dude.
Like,
I got a lot of stuff I want to say.
He's been smirking this whole show like he's got some ridiculous story to tell. So
I'm gonna just shut up and take a dab.
I gotta know what his first concert
Ashton's
was.
like, yo, I saw Christina Aguilera. It was fire, bro.
Dude, especially
bro, Spice Girls reunion tour, son.
Bro, hey, I'd been down.
Bro,
depending on how old I was, dude, I would have been about it.
When the Spice Girls first came out, I was at the right age to understand that girls were pretty.
Yeah,
and there was something about downstairs that went woohoo when I looked at certain ones.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Depending on what age I was, I would have been there just to look at them, dude.
I mean, okay. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I saw the Spice Girls movie just because I thought those bitches were fly.
Oh, yeah, I had a crush
with like Baby Spice, so I ain't gonna lie.
Ginger.
Oh, really, dude? I was Scary Spice. That was me.
Yeah. Ginger must have been where I started.
Dude, I was like probably
thing.
6 or 7.
I'm not necessarily picky, man.
I was like 6 or 7 when I watched that movie, so it doesn't count. But to like really get a glimpse of like my first concert experience, I guess I have to like kind of rewind a little bit before it. Like, my parents. Both my parents, my mom and my dad, have really good music taste, I would say. They, brainwashed me with a lot of shit at a young age. Growing up in the 90s, I listened to a lot of Def Leppard, a lot of rock from my dad's side, and a lot of Tom Petty, Def Leppard, Tom Petty, The Cars, Foreigner. Like the list goes on. It's very mixed. And then also Garth Brooks as well. Like there's a little country in there from my dad's side. And then my mom also showed me like, we grew up, my mom lived in Seattle and shit, so like I grew up listening to like, why am I drawing a blank? Dave Matthews, obviously, and then really famous band in the 90s. Why am I spacing that?
The Melvins?
No, it was like something 5. I think.
Maroon 5?
No, not Maroon 5.
Oh, fuck.
Jurassic 5?
No, that's even better, but...
Oh God, I think I know the band you're thinking of too. Fuck.
Like the album of the cover was like a big chubby dude with glasses on.
I'm just like I'm vaguely remembering this fucking logo for it, and it had like I feel like I'm remembering a star with like the
What's
5
the
in
song?
it.
I can't I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, so growing up, like going to races and shit, like my dad was always pumping us up on AC/DC and Quiet Riot and all that stuff. So I had like growing up, I just had a background of knowing who was who in a sense. I listened to the radio falling asleep. I was obsessive about music by the time I was in kindergarten. Like I would fall asleep to Rock 94.5 at night and just listen to the talk show guy, you know? So then fast forwarding to, I'm about 13 years old, oddly. And my dad and my brother and me have been restoring this 1970s Challenger. And it's finally done, and we're going to this car show that's pretty famous in Idaho at the time, because there's this cafe called the Hot Rod Cafe here in Post Falls, Idaho. And the owner of that every summer would throw on the River City Rod Run at the Greyhound Park. And it was like this huge national car show in a sense, like, thousands of fucking rad hot rods would show up. And at the end of every night, there was a fucking rock show. So, like, I can't remember who the first one was, but I remember this year it was like Quiet Riot, Foghat, and I think Joan Jett and the Blackheart. So that was like my first experience at a concert. Like, my dad finally got to take his car and show, and we won. And then that night we got to like fucking drink beer. And the weird thing is they were passing out these beer bottles that were plastic. Like the Bud Light and Budweiser beer bottles looked glass, but they were actually rubber. And I remember that, like all these rubber beer bottles being everywhere, and like listening to Foghat and shit. Like Foghat was like the ending thing. But that was like my real first experience. And then I guess like my real first concert, my mom took me to Dave Matthews when I was 19 years old at the Gorge Amphitheater. And if you know anything about the Gorge, that's probably one of the most gorgeous fucking amphitheaters in the world. So to say, by a lot of the artists I've seen there, like they're always pumped to play there and shit. And it was kind of funny because like I didn't really care much about Dave Matthews at that time, nor do I still. I mean, some of his music's pretty good, but I'm not a huge Dave Matthews fan. But I remember going there and we had like, pit tickets. So we were way down in the front. And me being a 19-year-old kid, I was like, fuck, I got to get some beers. And then like my mission was to find somebody smoking a joint and be like, yo. So I went to the bathroom, found a dude smoking a joint, and I ended up getting a couple hits off of it before some older dude stole it from me because he said I was too young to be smoking weed. And at this point, I drank a bunch of beers and was stoned, obviously. And I got back to where my mom was sitting, and she was like, "You're fucked up." And I'm like, "Yeah,
where have you been?
I found a doobie." And like her boyfriend at the time was like laughing at me and shit. And then by this point, she had already, given me quite a few drinks. And I'm, young, and I just smoked, and I kind of greened out there for a minute, and I'm like sitting down in the chair. Like my mom's like, "I swear to God, if you get sick, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." I remember my mom telling me that, and I'm like, fuck, I just ruined my mom's Dave Matthews concert, And then they start playing the sax guy comes out, and I just jumped up, like I was good. And then it was
second
like,
win, bro.
Yeah, dude, it was like the most crazy.
It's the Dave Matthews revival.
Yeah, it was like the most,
Hey, bro.
weirdest experience. Like,
It was like, hallelujah, I'm
music.
alive.
Yeah, but dude, I just remember being so drunk and stoned, and like the saxophone dude comes out, and it's like Dave Matthews saxophone guy. He's like super cool.
Bro,
Yeah,
he's
it was a great
fire.
experience.
He is probably one of the best
And then, like,
saxophone players.
I think I was just laughing the whole time because my mom and her boyfriend are just like dancing really weird, and like all these old people are like just dancing really weird around me, and they're all fucked up. And then like people are smoking weed, and the smell of Washington weed just wafting around, and Dave Matthews jamming.
Yo, you talking?
It was just like, and then like my mom's boyfriend was just like, "Oh, smell that! You smell that goodness!" And yeah, it was a great experience.
So you talk about like those moments of like the old people dancing and like being all weird and dancing in like the aisle and shit. Like it reminds me of a concert that Lizzie and I went to. It was the Soul Shine Festival, and this idea of this festival thing was that the whole tour, you had this option to buy a ticket to do yoga before the show with the artists on the bill. And so, like, there were some, like, reggae bands that we wanted to see on there. So we're like, yeah, fuck yeah, like, we're going to go see Soja. This is going to be dope. And so, like, we started looking into the other bands on the bill, really fell in love with Trevor Hall. That was literally how we found out about Trevor Hall to begin with. And then, of course, the headliner for the night was Michael Franti. And we weren't really sure who Michael Franti was at the time. We were like, oh, Michael Franti and Spearhead, cool, whatever. It turned out, like, the main thing we figured out about him before we went to the show is that he was the Hey, I Love You guy. which I think everybody remembers that song, you know, somewhere in a gas station or something. It's like, hey, I'll be gone today, I'll be back along the way. Seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you, baby girl. Yeah, like everybody remembers that.
I've heard that.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like you've heard it in a movie or a commercial or something, right?
Everybody has heard that song at least once, and dude, it's a good.
That's Michael Franti. Yeah, like that's Michael Franti.
It's one of them good vibe songs, bro.
It is. And so like we didn't know anything about him really. But I'll tell you what, like we jammed out for all the bands at the beginning. We were out in our seat, like up at the front of the show, and it was great.
Side note, dude, Sean, you killed that fucking little
You actually did, like, because I recognized it like about 3 or 4 lines in. I was like, I know this song.
It's not only like the fact that like just like the lyrics
with no beat
how he did it. Like I literally heard as soon as he started singing it, bro. I heard the entire song in my head, bro. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna front, right? Like I didn't know much about him. We fell back. We fell back during that concert because we were like, all right, we're not Michael Franti fans, right? So we'll fall back. We'll just watch the show from the way back. So we're like last row of the crowd, just sitting back, watching this show. Oh my God, it was one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen. Dude brought like a children's choir from the city to come in and sing with him. Dude fucking had like this whole bit where like he had the headset on, so he was able to take the guitar and come walking up and down the aisles in the crowd and dance with everybody. Like amazing. We immediately became fans. I went and got a bunch of his music. I still listen to it to this day because like holy fuck, dude. And again, it's that good vibe shit. Like dude, I'm watching like people who are my grandparents' age, and they are just straight vibing, dancing, having a grand old time, like nobody's watching and not giving a fuck if you are.
Dude, if you ain't moving to that type of shit, you don't have a soul.
Bro,
okay? Because like that shit just gets to me, bro. It just gets me all up in the feels, and no matter what, dude, I'm either going to be humming it, my foot's going to be a tapping, or I'm going to be a moving, dude. It's just one of those things, dude.
Dude,
I'm about that shit.
I became an immediate fan of that. Like that's definitely up there as one of the best concerts experiences that I know I've had. But what about the rest of you guys? What do you think is your best one?
Dude, I'd probably say my Ozfest experience probably was one of the best ones. Because it's like I didn't only get to see like, you know, 1 or 2 bands. You know, I saw like
you got to do the festival experience.
Yeah, exactly. I saw so many different people that I've never heard of, from people that, you know, I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen live, or people that I haven't even listened to in a long time, or people that just like my uncles and like my fucking dad, or like they were into at some point, that were actually still up there doing their thing, or you know what I mean? And it was just cool just to go there and experience it, you know what I mean? Get that festival sort of experience while getting a fucking awesome show at the same time. Not only that, dude, but for me, like being a guitar player and stuff, getting to see Zach Wild up there phenomenal. Just fucking killing it, playing with Sabbath. Dude, there was a point where he played behind his head for, I don't know, probably like a good third of the song.
Dude, Black Label Society, his
band, it, dude. He's just sitting there banging his head and just fucking shredding, bro. And I'm just like, dude, this guy is. Of course, I had a few beers. You know what I mean? I was fairly stoned, but dude, I was having the time of my life, bro.
Yeah, dude. BLS is phenomenal. If you ever have a chance to see those guys live, it's Zach's band, and like,
yeah, dude,
so good, so good. What about you? What about you, Ashton? Best one.
I'd say I'd have 2. Like I guess it was like really my first experience, kind of like how Chris talked about. Like he read everything about like the Bare Naked Ladies, and like, you know, like he was invested in this. You know what I mean? And I guess like my biggest one was the first Mercules concert that I got to go to, because I actually found him through like his spin-off buddy, like that guy plays Little Windex. Like he was in like they were doing some funny thing on Instagram, and then that's how I found out about Merc. And then he's really big on like, you know, voicing his, like he deals with anxiety and depression a lot. So like, and he tries to help people, you know what I mean? Like that's what he does. He sings about like his problems and shit and like what he goes through. So I related big time with that, what I was going through with that. at my certain point in life. And then I got to go to the concert and shit and like be front row and like sing and shit with them and like just taking my phone. And there was a lot of experience and a lot of emotion going on, you know, like singing your heart out to like one of the songs that's gotten you through like some really dark shit in life. And then I got to meet him after the concert and smoke with him and shit. And it was just like this crazy experience, you know. And then months after that, you know, I got to meet you guys and shit. Dude, so it's just a really crazy experience. And then I also
I'm completely
got to see
forgetting, bro.
Acoustic live.
There's other shows that I've been to. The only reason why I don't remember is because I was really stoned when I was there because they were at like a High Times or a Blazers Cup. But I've seen like 2 Chainz, bro.
2 Chainz.
City Boy, bro.
Bruh.
I've seen Long Beach All-Stars, Long Beach Dub All-Stars, and the Loonies, bro. What am I talking about? I've seen I got 5 on it.
Yeah, that'd be.
I've seen them, bro, at one of these fucking things. I think that one was at Blazers Cup, believe it or not.
Yeah, dude. Events like that are how I've seen a lot of cool bands.
Dude, I've seen
fucking,
like The Game.
Yeah, I saw Meth and Red because of Boston Freedom Rally.
I missed The Game. We had to leave before The Game showed up. But yeah, dude, I've seen quite a few people that I don't remember because I was really fucking stoned. Apparently.
What about you, Uncle Chris?
Well, you know, okay, so it sounds like I've went to a lot more live shows than at least Ashton and James.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm slacking.
Dude, probably by the time I was like 16, I literally, dude, I saved every ticket stub. I'd spent over $3,000 on tickets. By the time I was
my
16.
era got like missed out on like that experience in life. Like they didn't.
I think that the scene was still there. You just had to find it.
Right.
I honestly do. And I also lived. You got to remember, I also live in
Idaho,
World City.
So anything coming around me was.
That's my thing,
exactly.
Dude. Here where I'm at, dude, there's no place to go see a show.
Well, yeah, you know
city.
what I mean. So like, I was
have
lucky
to travel
because
to
of
LA.
that.
Right.
So like, I would go to Toronto, and like I said, I could get there in half an hour. So it wasn't like I lived far, and it's one of the biggest cities in the world. You know what I mean? Like it's a world-class city. So like every tour that you wanted to, and no matter what band, if it was a big band or a little band, like I went to arena shows. I went to basement fucking bars that held like 75 people. So I've been to everything.
Yep.
Because I was also like a music junkie. Like I literally was a live music and music junkie. So much of my money went to like getting high, getting drunk, and music. Like that was it. And then as time got on, you know, you start to add more things, but you'd also be making more money, so it made sense. But yeah, I think my favorite show ever, and the only reason why I say it's my favorite show is because it was like, I'll just explain it real quick. So basically, for anybody out there that doesn't know, like I like a lot of like 90s skate punk, ska music, all that kind of stuff, like into the 2000s as well. But like my favorite band of all time is NoFX. I love NoFX. I've loved NoFX since the very first time I heard A Brew, Two Heaps, and a Bean, and I was probably in grade 8. And that was like the minute that I heard NoFX for me was like, this is what I like. Like from now on, if people are like, what kind of music do you like? This is what I like. Like this is where I need to be. This is where I'm going to live. And so when I was probably, I don't know, I'm in like early 20s, maybe even like bordering onto my mid 20s, like 23, 24, 4 really good friends of mine were in this band. And they're in this band called Crooked Hook, and they were like a punk band, and they're kind of like a melodic punk band. And I would go lots of times, like on the weekends, I would go wherever they were playing a show. And it'd just be like basically, number one, my friends were there because they were in the band. And not only that, other friends would go because their friends were in the band, or my friends, whatever. You just have a bunch of friends there. And then there'd be a bunch of other people there because there'd be other shows, other bands, whatever. So like I'd spend time with these guys since I was probably like 16 years old, and now they're like playing shows all the time, and I went. So they ended up, my one friend Dan, who was the lead singer, he like somehow befriended Eric Melvin because he played hockey with them in like Las Vegas. I'm not even sure like the whole story. I'd have to ask him. But he somehow befriended Eric Melvin, who's like the guitarist from NoFX, like not El Jefe, like the original, the guy who yells. And so he befriended him. So they ended up like they opened up for NoFX at like this really dope venue in Toronto called the Warehouse. Now it's called, I think, the Cool House, but it would hold like maybe 1,500 people. But dude, they'd pack that place so packed, and it would get so fucking hot that the ceiling would drip. Like you'd be like getting, and there'd be so much like humidity in the air because there'd be so many people,
That's how that
sweating and
little
shit.
theater
Bro,
was
the
I was
ceiling
in.
would fucking drip because it looked like it had like those like stalactites or whatever. Yeah, stalactites, I think, are the ones that hang down,
Yep.
not the ones that
Yeah.
grow up.
Yep.
And so they were opening up for them. And I was there, dude. There was probably like 30, 40 people that I knew. Like friends that I've been friends with for like a 10 years to like friends that I had met in the last few years, like while going to all these shows for like my friends' band. And so that was crazy hype. You'd go out for like a smoke and like you'd see like 10 friends out there and you'd like smoke one down and then you'd go back in the show and the next band would come on, whatever, you know what I mean? And then when NoFX came on, like, first of all, like I said, love NoFX, favorite ever, spent thousands of hours listening to them. Dude, they played the fucking Decline. And I remember, so for anyone out there, the Decline is like an EP, it's like what are they called? Is it EP? The one
Yeah.
with the 4 tracks idea?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like an 18-minute one song that's kind of like 3 or 4 songs because they kind of slow the tempo and change everything up and like, but it's all building to like the end, and like the end is just, it's amazing. So I remember I was outside for a smoke because they came back for, that was like their encore. And so I was outside for a smoke, and dude, I heard like the very first couple of fucking like notes from the song, and I just looked at my fucking friend. I was like, they're playing the fucking Decline, and I just like ran, and I was just like fucking knocking people over, like running, went right into the pit. And like I just remember at moments I felt like I was not even in my body because it was so much like energy and everyone was going crazy because like I'd been to every NoFX show since like 1996 in Toronto, and they never once played the Decline, obviously, until after it came out, but they'd been there a couple times before and never played it. And I would always say to my best friend, I was like, yo, like, if they ever play the Decline, bro, I will fucking lose my mind. I'll lose my mind. And that's what ended up happening, dude. And like I remember after I like walked back, and there was like some friends that were down like at one of these pillars, like kind of just on the outside of the pit. And I walked back after the song was done, and dude, I was completely drenched. And they said that I looked like I was gonna fucking throw up, but it's because my energy was so high that then the minute that song was over, and I was like, oh my god, dude, I have to go find Mike, or you know what I mean? Like, just I needed to fucking just grab somebody and fucking scream and be like, it's fucking, oh my god. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I just remember thinking like, this is my peak. Like, there's nothing that I will do at a live show that will ever match this, like, ever in my entire life. And it happened, and it just fucking, and like, not only that, I was riding a fucking high for weeks because I knew that my friends' bands were opening up for NoFX, so they were obviously crazy excited too. And it was amazing. Fucking loved it. So that's probably my favorite. But dude, I've seen everything from like alternative to punk to ska to, dude, I remember I saw even shit like Taylor Dane, because that was like after I went to that Bare Naked Ladies concert. I basically decided that I was going to go to almost every single concert at that Kingswood Music Theater because of that first experience. So it'd be like, oh, yo, Taylor Dane's playing? Cool. I don't know anything about her, but I'm going to go because it's a concert, and I'm going to just try to capture that fucking feeling again.
Dude, see, like you just brought me back to a moment that I think is probably going to go down as one of my tops, at least for right now. Like, just like you, I've been doing the whole local underground music scene for so long in my life too that like I'm in the thousands and thousands of live music experiences. But during my teenage years, when I was really heavy into the whole Juggalo scene, ICP, for the very beginning of that whole process of their career, was working on this whole storyline between all of their albums. So each album was considered a Joker's card. These Joker's cards had a message and a story and a part of the story to tell, and they were all leading up to this final Joker's card, the sixth Joker's card. And this has been 10 plus years of their career of building this whole thing together with everything that goes into each album release and then the EPs in between to like fully make this whole thing happen. And we were finally at the release of the sixth Joker's card. That shit was obviously for any of the kids who were into it, we were like hype. This was supposed to be a big bombshell moment for a lot of people about ICP. Something was supposed to be revealed about this album. Everything, the whole world was going to change when we finally heard this album. So like we were all hyped. It was at that time that I actually got arrested for trying to make that type of music. The people in my town that I went to school with at the time, they actually thought that my violent rap lyrics were murder plots to actually kill people. And I actually did get arrested for this. It definitely put my life on a really weird trajectory and path from there forward. Needless to say, I never went back to that high school. So yeah, like all of that, all over fucking Insane Clowns, because my principal looked into the band that I was listening to, whose shirt I kept wearing, and decided that I couldn't be mentally stable if I listened to this music, and that I needed a psychiatric evaluation before they felt safe letting me in their school again. Yeah, so we fast forward a few months. This is part of my life right now at that time, and now they're on tour, touring on this album. We already know that the big reveal was that this was all a story of like being good people, and like when you followed the whole process, you're like, oh shit, okay, like this is a story of like people who have been shitty being better people, and then really just doing good things for people. And this whole idea of a dark carnival was their version of heaven, because they're horror buffs. They like horror shit. So instead of going to normal heaven, Shangri-La and the dark carnival is going to be their heaven, and the carnival is really just God. All right, cool, great big reveal. So now we're at the concert. We've been through all the lead-up bands, which is everybody on their label, because it's a big deal. So everybody that they have signed on their label has opened. Now we're at their event. And anybody who's even, remotely heard of Insane Clown Posse knows that there's this whole Faygo shower shit that goes on. So, like, they drop the curtain to reveal the set, and it's this huge, beautiful game show set. Spinning wheels, lights flashing, all this crazy shit, fucking giant tubs of soda bottles, fucking out come the clowns, they start rapping, out come the other clowns, which are just, extra people they have in clown suits who are out there just shaking up Faygo, spraying it on people, shit's going wild. They go through basically the entire album, plus all the greatest hits, and then they get to the final song. And they do the classic walk-off. And you're like, all right, come on, dude. Like, they've got to do the unveiling. It's the big final song off the album. It's the big, like, reveal song. Like, they've got to do it, right? And it's the energy. Everybody's buzzing. We've all been on the floor. We're all literally covered in fucking soda.
So sticky. So sticky, bro. That's all I'm thinking.
Literally.
Right
Covered in head to toe with diet fucking soda. And you just hear, like, a noise in the darkness. So it ain't over, and that's why you're still there. And then all of a sudden, you hear their voice, and they start like rapping the beginning of the song, and everybody just like goes nuts. And when you're invested in any band like that, you know every word to every fucking song, and so you've literally got, I'm getting choked up remembering it, holy shit, you've literally got a club of like 700, maybe 1,000 people singing in unison with the band. And the energy is just so fucking high that, like, by the end, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. I think every fucking kid was crying by the end of that show. And like, people think about the Juggalo kids, you know, fucking scary clown mask, fucking face paint, shit like that, and you're like, wait a minute, these kids are crying at the end of a concert. But it was like, for us at that time, it was this like giant culmination of this giant grand fucking theatrical performance that we had been following along for 10 goddamn years.
Yeah.
Like, how goddamn incredible of an experience. And like, whether or not you like the music or you like the whole gimmick and all of that, the one thing that has always stood out to me is the marketing game. That is a band that understood how to market their sound, their style, and their look so well that, like, literally we hung on to this story for 10 fucking years and bought every goddamn album. Brilliant, dude. And like,
you gotta think too, that was like in the era of like no internet. Like there was internet, but it wasn't like what it is today. There's no cell phones.
You're right though. Like, to come up with the internet was a big part of all of it, because like we're talking late '90s into the 2000s. You know, 2001 was the era that we're talking about. 2001, yeah. 2002, somewhere in there is you know, the year that we're talking about, in that range. So, like, again, they were harnessing that. You know, the websites, the forums, those kind of things. Like, I think every teenager goes through even a small period of their life where they feel like they're the outcast.
Oh,
and
100%, everybody.
And some of us just stay there. Like, maybe we prefer to be the outcast. We like that label. We like being the freak. I mean, that was me. I won't lie. I'm still that guy. I still like being the fucking freak and the weirdo. So I'm a goddamn angry hippie. Because I like being that guy. That's who I think I'll always be.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Sean, I think, you know, labeling it what you want to label it, I think those kind of people are some of the most down-to-earth, God, honest people you'll ever talk to in your life.
Well, it's just like Chris was saying, dude. It's like he was into, you know, more of that punk ska thing, but he had a very similar sort of euphoric type, like, lose yourself experience in that, because that's what he was into, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just like if I were to,
Whatever
like,
you're committed to, man.
it's like if I were to go to a band that I absolutely fucking loved and they played that album or that one fucking song that I, you know what I mean? And I'm sure I would have that same, like, it's just,
dude.
It's just that just happened to be that for you, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm sure everybody can have that opportunity, man, if they find that.
Later
right
in life, it was Trevor Hall, and like,
Yeah.
literally for me, it was almost a religious goddamn experience to get lost
dude.
in that music, because for him and his music, it's a whole nother ball game than what, you know, fucking monster rap shit that ICP was doing. You know, he's doing this like reggae meets folk meets like Hindu vibe thing, like. But to have that experience, and same thing, get this like euphoric, transcendental, almost out of body experience from just watching a dude perform their music and do their thing on stage. Like,
Yeah. Like, as funny as this is going to sound to a lot of people, but like, if I were to go to see a fucking Garth Brooks concert right now, bro, I would lose my fucking mind, dude. Because that's shit that I literally fucking grew up on and still love to this day, no matter how much fucking fun people make of me for loving it.
Dude, he came to
It's just
like 2 years ago.
That's just one of those things, dude. It's just like, he's like if anybody knows, like, I've heard so many amazing things about a fucking Garth Brooks concert, and I already know how much I love his music and what it means to me personally, just for like my musical fucking journey or whatever. It's just like, if I were to go to one of those, I know like I would have a very similar experience to like what Chris is saying, or like what, you know, you're saying, Sean. Like, I would probably literally would lose myself in whatever fucking was going on and just like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to relive this.
Dude,
this is that moment.
Yeah, it's an incredible experience. I hope every music fan finds a band that they can love that much, that they can have that experience at a live concert. I mean, I don't care if you know, you're a boy band fan and you want to go see these fucking One of those
If
guys. I don't know
even
who
go
they are
with, like,
anymore.
my parents to go see like one of their favorite bands because, like, of course, the music they listened to was definitely a big part of me growing up, and like being able to be there with them. Like, if I were to be able to take like my mom to like an Earth, Wind and Fire concert,
Bro.
dude, that would be fucking epic, dude. Because I love me some Earth, Wind and Fire, dude.
Yeah,
You know
dude.
what I mean?
And them
Like,
in Chicago tour all the time with each
Yeah.
other. And
Dude,
like,
the
what a
one-
perfect lineup. Chicago and fucking Earth, Wind, and Fire. How do you
that'd be
not dance
sick.
at that concert?
That'd be sick.
Absolutely.
Dude, another thing, like, just this is like a quick thing for me, and you guys can talk on it if you want. One thing that I used to always love about going to shows, and because, like I said, I went to a lot, I used to fucking, like, I don't think that get off is the right word, but I'm just going to use get off, on finding new music and then going fucking ham on,
Yeah,
like, because
dude.
dude, like, this was when I was getting into all these shows and I was going to all this shit. It was like Napster was just had taken off, and I could come home, I could go on the internet. I had high speed internet, like, dude, I had way faster internet in like 1994 than I do right now. And I would go home and I would like download their discography, bro, and I just find shit. Or like you'd get to go to like some real small shows, and then you'd end up, you know, years later, you'd be like, oh, dude, I remember seeing that band, and now they're fucking huge in the scene. And I saw them before they're fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, dude, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Flatliners, but they're a punk band. They were on like Fat Records, so like a big punk label. And dude, like, they used to play shows all the time with my friends in that band, Crooked Hook, because they were from the same area as us. And I went and saw them when they were like probably like 15 years old playing shows, and I was probably like 18, 19. And I remember the first time I ever heard them, I was like, these guys are probably gonna go somewhere. I never thought that they'd be as like big as they are. Like, anyone out there that knows punk, or like even punk in the last 20 years, like the Flatliners, they're like up there. They were probably one of the best artists on Fat Records, which is huge, right?
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
Fat Mike's record label. It's a huge fucking thing. And I just remember seeing them as like 15, 16-year-old kids. So like, is there any times that you guys, like, Sean obviously saw that guy, but he was headlining. So like,
Yo,
he was
but-
already a big deal.
But no, but like,
Like, do you guys
I've been
ever
there.
see like a nobody band, and then it turned out that like years later they ended up being like pretty big, or like have like a big following? Like, you kind of got in on them early, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how Merc was. That's how I felt with Merc, because like that was right before his like first real big album dropped, and then he came to Spokane for the first tour in America. Like, that was the first stop, and I was like, it was just crazy. And then after that year, you just watched him explode, and then got to like do a bunch of music with all of his like idols he grew up with, and
Yeah, like big players in the game.
yeah,
kind of
like
thing.
he's obsessed with like 50 Cent and shit, and like stuff like that, because those are the rap artists that like my era. He's like my age or a little bit younger than me, so like he listened to the same kind of rap and stuff that I listened to as a kid. And for like, I just feel exactly how he feels when he explains it, you know what I mean? Like, not that I wanted to be a rap artist, but I can just feel like those same feelings of just being like kind of close in some way.
I don't think I personally have seen anybody like before they were really, big or anything like that. At least not that I could think of off the top of my head. Because like I said, I've been to just like a lot of just random shows, you know what I mean? And like half the time I don't even remember. Like I said, there's sets I don't even remember seeing until like we started talking about it. But yeah, dude, there's nothing really in particular that's like pops out for me. Like, there's definitely a lot of people that I listen to that for a long time that have ended up becoming something, you know what I mean? Never got to see them live, but I've been listening to Anderson .Paak before he was even Anderson .Paak, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that would have been cool if I would have seen him back in the day, when I was originally listening to him, and then be like, dude, like
that. Listen,
Grammy
don't tell me
Award
about
winner,
him. I'm a fucking OG. All right.
Yep, that's
I've been listening to him since he was Breezy Lovejoy. What you know about that, bro?
I mean,
You know
I
what
was
mean?
I was on that for a lot of different shit. Like, as weird as it is, KMK. I got on the KMK train like right on the first album. You know, before they even dropped Saint Dog and picked up Richter. Like, I was already on the KMK train. So, like, there was that. But, like, as far as, like, seeing bands that ended up, like, being national and shit, one of my favorite examples is Toxic Narcotic. From, like, you know, the whole punk crust scene. Toxic Narcotic would come play all these little DIY shows at like a Knights of Columbus Hall or something like that.
The more we talk, dude, the more shit keeps coming back.
Yo, and like I've seen Toxic like 5 or 6 different goddamn times at these different kind of venues like that, and like they're literally a national band. Like people all over the country love them. Fucking my friend's band Cold Reed went national at one point. They were a Jägermeister band. So they were doing Ozfest and Loco Bazooka and shit like that. So like
I never really got too much into like the punk scene of music or like searching it out in the sense because I lived in Idaho and like I'd like go into a concert and shit or like telling my fucking religious youth group pastor father that I'm gonna go see fucking NoFX or The Offspring at the time when I was like 13.
Yeah, but MXPX was a fucking Christian band.
Yeah, but there was a lot of that shit. But like going to see that kind of stuff never was around me.
Like I was doing a lot of my local punk though. That was the thing. Like I remember, it was my buddy Alec and I. We had our band that we had just started. You know, it was like 8th, 9th grade, something like that. Probably 8th grade. And we were just hanging out at the mall, cruising through the mall, doing your thing in the malls. You know, kids do. And somebody gave me this flyer, and it was for this show, local music. It was in a small town, a couple towns north of us, and I was like, well, fuck it, dude. Like they gave me the sticker for some band, and I was like, let's go check them out. It's this band Entropy, and we went up to that show, and it was one of those little DIYs. It was in the fucking function hall of the Duxbury First Parish Church. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little town fucking First Parish Church, their function hall. And, like, we go in and, like, we're checking out the bands. And, like, at the time, we didn't fully understand what punk even was. We just knew that they were, like, some sort of rock metal kind of sound band because that's what these guys looked like. All right, cool. And then, like, we went in and we started seeing these bands, and it was, you know, it was Toxic Narcotic, and it was my friend's band Entropy and shit like that. And, like, we started to fall in love with just our local music scene. You know, and same with, like, Chris is talking about, like, having friends in those kind of bands. That's how you wound up finding out about more of those bands. You know? And shit, like, one of my closest friends to this day is this kid we call Sketchy. Sketchy used to rap in one of my old horror rap groups, and he was one of my pit pals back when we were like 15, 16 years old at those punk shows. And then years later we connected because we worked at 2 different places that were like next door to each other. And we're like, oh shit, yeah, I remember you from the Entropy shows. Yeah, let's kick it sometime. Smoke some weed. And the rest was history. We're still friends to this day. I'm the godfather of his kid. I mean, that's how tight we are now, to this day, because of local punk shows. So, like, local music's the shit. We are getting down to the end of the show, and I know James had one more thing he wanted to hit us with.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because, like, Sean brought it up, and it's something I want to know. Is there, like, a dream lineup? Like, and with this, I'm going to leave it pretty open, so it could be, like, dead or alive with this. It's like, if you could put together your perfect lineup of people, and it doesn't even have to be like within the same genre even. I'm gonna like leave it that open for you guys.
So like how many acts? Like
right
4?
We'll say like 3 or 4 just to keep it pretty easy.
Now.
You know what I mean? So dude, whoever wants to go first, it's pretty open. Like I said, like whoever the fuck you want on this fucking lineup, who would you have? Go for it.
So
whoever.
I would like 3. So like the opener would probably be the Zombies. You know. They sing Summertime and shit like that, oldies. And then I would really want to see Pepper because they're obviously still around. I could still see them at some point. But I would really like to see Sublime, you know, the original, and just take it all in. Just play it all for me. That would really be it. Because that's just like where my soul sits right now. Like, I play that nonstop. I've played that nonstop since I was in middle school.
Damn.
I mean, it's not a bad finish, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Damn, that's tough.
And
Dude,
I'm
I
sure
have
like
two.
a lot of people are, similar in the sense.
Well, dude, I have two, and I'm like trying to think because like there's about six that are in my head, and I have to like be like, well, ultimately when it comes
I
down
gotta
to
throw
it, which one am
100
I gonna
away.
take?
Yeah, like that's it. Like I could book a whole goddamn festival of dream
dude,
artists.
I could book like
Shit.
30 years of fucking festivals.
For real. Like, that's the thing. Like I could
20 different genres.
I'll give you another Woodstock, like of just all over the goddamn place kind
Dude,
of
honestly,
show.
mine would be
even Cypress Hill.
like for if you were to like get tickets for the show, you would have to have a very open mind to fucking music if you were to go to this show
Right.
I'm about to give out. Like that's like all I can say is because they're not the genres do not necessarily blend, but like it's just who I would want to. These are just people I've always wanted to fucking see. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like I said, if Garth Brooks was on that list, fuck yeah, he's on there. I don't know where he would be in the list. I don't know if he's opening, closing, like what. I don't care where he's at. He's in there. Ashton already took one of mine, but I'm still saying it because everybody knows how much of a fucking Sublime and just Bradley Noel fan I am. Like, that's probably gonna be the closer for me because like that's probably one of the ones that's really close to me.
The headliner.
Because I know
and Lou
I
Dog's gonna
personally
be
know
there.
how to play so many of these songs and know almost like even though I know practically every word to a lot of Garth Brooks music as well, but like you know what, Garth Brooks is gonna open for me. He's gonna get the good vibes going for me. You know what I mean? He's gonna get the party started. But like Sublime's definitely gonna be a closer. But like the middle is the hard part for me. Is like that I don't know who else I would. You know what? Fuck, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's tough, dude.
I mean, I know this much. Bob Marley is my headliner.
Fuck,
Dude.
my hair's standing up, dude. Look at this shit.
Yeah, Bob Marley's my fucking headliner because he was gone well before I would have ever had a chance. Like, you know what I mean? So like, Bob is definitely my goddamn headliner. And like in all of that same vein, damn, like I used to book a lot of those like wild all over the place shows. We used to call them not your average hip hop show. Yeah, those were fun. A couple hip hop artists, couple who knows, punk, rock, acoustic, it didn't matter. Just throw a bunch of people. I had a poetry reading in one of them. Yeah, not your average hip hop show for sure. But yeah, so like I would have to do like Cypress because I still have yet to see Cypress. And I mean, of that like that caliber of those particular styles of artists, you know, like the more weed centric artists, I've seen Meth and Redman. I was fortunate enough to catch that. So like, I still got to see Cypress. So that's, you know, they're probably right before Bob. They're probably gonna open for Bob. And then yeah, like before that,
Dude, you know what? I might have to throw some Revolution up in there too, bro. Because like I've always been a Revolution fan, but lately I've been listening to them quite a bit, and there's just something about their sound that I just dig. You know
That's
what I mean?
how I feel about Pepper, bro.
Dude, I think that 4 bands is legit. You can have 4.
Yeah. So like I'm at 3 now. Like I could slide one more in there. It's just like I don't know who I'd want to put it. Dude, you know what? I'd probably have to slide in another country one in there just because, dude. Like this is gonna be a country like reggae show. Like that's what this is, bro. We're gonna throw some Chris Stapleton, man. I've been a huge Chris Stapleton fan lately as well because he's kind of like bringing that old school country sound back. That like I love, you know what I mean? And he's just got that. Not only that, it's just the tone of this dude's voice, man. And he could play the shit out of the guitar. I'm about that. That's my setup, dude. That's my lineup. We got Garth. You know, it's gonna go Chris, Garth, fucking Revolution, and it's like a 2-night event. You know, you get 2 shows a night. You go first night, you get Chris Stapleton and Garth Brooks. Next night, you get your fucking Revolution
I mean, like, let's just
That's
be
how I'm doing
honest.
mine, dude.
Let's be
But
honest
I-
with ourselves, because we are like obviously so in love with music that it would
It's hard to.
all of us would have a festival, and so
Yeah.
literally, like, I think that's fair. Those are your two headliners for the first festival night. The other
Yeah.
two headliners for your other festival night.
And then, like,
all
within
those
that,
other
dude,
bands that we love, they
yeah.
get to be somewhere in between.
Like, cause there'd be like on the second night with Revolution and fucking Sublime, there'd be like some Anderson Paak in there. There'd be like that's where like my hip hop and like my
Yeah.
like reggae and stuff sort of shit will be. And then the country one will that's where like some of the rock and
See,
other
like,
stuff will be.
framing it like that, my other stage's headliner is Tosh Sultana,
Oh wow! That's
because
Yeah,
like
dude. I would rather see Jurassic 5.
I can't get enough of her music, and it's the fact that she does it by herself. Like,
Well, yeah, she's
to-
just a G.
to
Like-
loop all of that shit live in person, like, that's one of the few artists I've watched multiple full-length concerts, like, on YouTube and stuff of,
Mhm.
because it's so cool to watch how she crafts it in real time and makes it different.
Dude,
So
that
she's definitely
Dance
up
Monkey artist does that too. You guys know that song, Dance Monkey?
Yeah, that's
Me.
my daughter's favorite song.
Dude, I can't remember what that girl's name is, but she was living on like this in a camper van, and she just was a street performer, and she would just set up the track like live. She'd be like doing it all quick, and then it would like really be rolling, and then she'd like break into her songs. It's just you reminded me of when you said that. I've never heard of that woman before that you said.
Yeah, dude.
Grow
Check
up,
her out.
dude.
She's
Yeah,
dope.
dude. She's her music's got me through some shit. Bro.
Her new album just dropped, too.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I'll check it out.
She's getting catapulted into the stratosphere.
She's from
now.
Australia, isn't she?
yep.
Yep.
Yo, what's even crazier is, like, her record label actually put up a full electronic billboard in Times Square for her new album. So,
Yo,
like,
that
center
girl's
of
from
Times
Australia
Square.
too.
Yeah.
The Dance Monkey girl's from Australia.
How about
It's
that?
not the same girl though.
No, it's not, but the Australian buskers are apparently killing it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 'cause she was a busker. Yeah.
Yeah, Australian buskers are obviously killing it because that was where Tosh started. She was she was a busker on the streets
dude,
in Australia.
I was gonna say the first time I ever seen a video of her, she was playing like the song "Me and You Know" well, pretty much, in the streets, just jamming.
Yeah, dude, like that's incredible. What about you,
Yeah,
though, Uncle Chris? I haven't
yeah,
heard
I'll
any
go,
like
I'll go.
of yours yet.
Okay, so it is difficult for me to like get it down to 4, but I'm gonna do it just because why not? I'm like all about commitment here. So I'm gonna say that like the first band, and like this is like the heartbreaking thing because like I have to leave out some of my favorite bands, which sucks. But like I've also seen them more, so it's cool, I guess. But I think that I would start it out with Lagwagon. Even though it's crazy to think that I'm gonna literally talk about a show that Lagwagon is opening up. That's fine by me because I fucking love them. They're awesome. I just love their sound, and they just rip. So that'd be a great starter. I think that the second band that I would probably have there, and this was like really tough for me because they're both like similar-ish, but one has horns and one doesn't. So I went with the horns, and I would put Less Than Jake because
Yeah,
I always love Less Than Jake, and like James was talking before, like no matter what, you're either like bopping your head, tapping your foot, whatever.
Yep.
Dude, I'd be like full out. Every muscle in my body would be fucking going because they get me fucking hyped.
I got a soft spot for horns, bro. I played a horn,
Yeah.
so
I
Yeah,
love me
dude,
some
I-
LTJ.
I played a
Ugh.
saxophone like all through high school as well. So like
Yeah.
I got that vibe, and I used to always like fuck around when I'd be like practicing like sheet music that I'd have to learn.
I picked.
I'd be, like,
trombone
trying to,
because of
like-
Sublime.
Yeah, dude, I would always be trying to like do my own shit, or I'd be like basically learning the parts for something else. And I played a tenor sax, and all these bands would either use like an alto or a baritone, so I'd have to like really change the sound a little bit because it'd be that different octave, but I could make it work. And I so love them. Probably the next one would be it's a common thing in here. It would be Sublime, and I love Sublime. I've liked them since like, well, honestly, I liked them right from when What I Got came out. Like when that album
You-
dropped, you know what I mean? Like in that time frame is like when I was like, dude, this is fucking dope. I love it. And the craziest thing is like I would like crank that shit in my room, and my mom or my dad would like come and like get me to do chores or call me for dinner or whatever, and I wouldn't hear them. And like my dad be like, you know that song's from like the 70s and whatever. He's like, who? They're like covering that song, and I wouldn't even know. I'd be like, what? You know what I mean? Like, that's by who? And you know who this is? And you know, it used to trip me out. So like, I love Sublime, love the sound. The one thing that I remember hearing was that whenever you saw them live, it was never really that good because Brad would just be so fucking whacked that like it would just, it was like you wouldn't get that traditional feel from, like, you know what I mean, when you go to a show, like they'll play songs. It was more just of a jam because he would get so whacked and like it wasn't as good. But the way that I'm picturing this would be like me going there and then playing like a legit fucking banger set, just killing it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is dream set, bro. Like,
Yeah,
this
dude,
is
so-
Bradley in his
Yeah.
prime. Like, he might
Yeah,
even...
dude.
This
And,
is
like,
like if Bradley would
so
have
This
got
is him playing fucking Romeo,
dude.
dude. Like, and you're just dying watching it.
So that would be my third band, and then obviously, like I said before, Headlines, just no effects. I fucking love them. They just like, they make me vibrate. I love them. I love
They
everything
make me
about them.
vibrate.
Like,
Vibrate.
when they're playing
This is
music
it.
for me, and this is the thing, right? I know forever as a person that's loved no effects for, you know, what, 25 years, 30 years ish, almost, or something like that. When you tell people that you really like no effects, you either get the I can see that they're dope, or you get the, yeah, it's fucking terrible noise, like that singer is terrible, right? And to me, I love the way Fat Mike's, like, he sounds amazing. I love the way he sings, and I love his lyrics, and I love everything about that. But that's just like that hit or miss thing, and so people would be like, nah, dude, and like they'd be like, oh, Pennywise is the best, and I'd be like, yeah, they're all right, but they're
Pennywise is cool, but
yeah.
Yeah, but they're more mainstream.
But like literally, what other punk band out there is gonna turn around and just do a straight up reggae song and be like, oh yeah, kill all the white man?
Dude, they have songs about like his vagina. It's
Yeah,
an
oh, my
entire song
vagina
about a dude
is
getting his sex
gold.
change.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
But
my
they kill
vagina
it,
is
and
epic.
it's good music that goes with it. So even if you don't like the lyrics, it's whatever. Just fucking, it's the
Dude.
experience, dude.
He's like, yeah, No Effects is a very, very special type of punk.
I don't know
band.
about you guys, but this episode has probably gotten me more pumped and got me like the feels than some of
Dude,
the
I
other
just
ones.
want to jam out to some music today.
Yeah, after
Yeah,
this, I'm
bro.
playing.
I'm gonna turn on my Spotify, put on my like playlist, and just let it rock.
Yeah, buddy.
The only shitty part about that, Garth Brooks, bro, put your fucking music on like Spotify and shit, dude. I get that you want your money and stuff, but come on, man.
You got to get money off Spotify though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
sure he
it's
does,
like
but,
a
like-
it's like a half a penny or a penny a play.
Yeah, like he has all of his
Yeah,
stuff,
well,
and,
that-
like he's
Yeah, but he's
streaming
fucking Garth Brooks, bro.
Yeah, though,
People
bro.
are
I know, man,
making
I get it.
millions.
dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
if you're getting like 100 million plays in a year, you're fucking doing all right.
No, I mean, trust me, I don't disagree with you, but I also agree with the standpoint not to. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
No,
no, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
I guess
I get it.
if you're huge,
I
people
see
will
why
hire
you
shit
do it, bro.
anyways.
But come on, hook a brother up.
That and I mean, I also
He is staying true. He is staying true. If you look
Yeah.
at it that way, you got to respect it that he's staying true to.
Oh, it's not
the
like I
music.
disrespect him. I just to me, I see it's like, yo, just make some money, dude. Like, whatever.
I mean, he
Yeah,
doesn't
but I
have
guess
to worry
like,
about it.
He's
He
got his
doesn't
own
already
like,
have to
worry about it.
sort of situation. I think he does, or something like that. But
Here's the thing with Garth Brooks before we come to an end on this one.
he's
I am just
smart.
jealous that my ex that I used to date in high school, her parents got to see Garth Brooks in one of those like shitty hole in the wall fucking
think my
greasy
parents
spoon
have.
dive bars with like the chicken wire in front of the stage kind of things.
I think
oh
my
yeah,
parents
dude, like
saw him.
Roadhouse.
I think
Yeah.
my parents seen him at a fucking little Roadhouse fucking bar down out here back in the early
Yep.
90s.
Like
dude.
that is where I would have liked to see the man. Like that would have been an experience to be to have
see
him.
where you got friends in low places. That'd be the shit.
Yeah, to have an artist of his caliber, like we talked about before about those artists and those
Dude, that would
experiences of
probably been
bands,
back in them Papa Loves Mama days.
right? Like to see an artist at that level of their career, and then be able to see that they skyrocket to multi-platinum stardom, and know that you got to see them before they were anybody, before they were just in some shitty hole in the wall.
He's still because he even disappeared for a long time, and he came back, and he's still fucking selling out like huge stadiums, dude.
Dude, he sang at Biden's inauguration.
Dude, he's
He still
Crazy
got
shit,
him.
dude.
He still got them
I
pipes.
think that Garth Brooks famous is a legit thing.
Yeah.
I think it's
you're
like Oprah
multi.
famous.
That's the thing. Like that's multi-platinum.
That's
Like
billionaire famous.
that is top level. That's
Anywho.
P Diddy ain't got shit on
Yeah.
Garth Brooks.
that's goddamn
No,
Fuck no.
But we're out of time, ladies and gentlemen. We've already run long, but you know us. It's the Shedtime Podcast. We get stoned and
Sometimes it
talk.
happens, bro.
That's it, man.
Oops. Sorry,
So-
not sorry.
We're gonna spin it around the room, send it off to everybody, and let's throw it to Uncle Chris to start that as I spin my fingers all around wildly.
Yeah, dude. I want to thank you for letting me go first. It allows me to be the original one. Okay, so I'm gonna say thanks to everybody for tuning in. Check us out on SoundCloud. If you're not, just go over and follow us. Let's just roll that out. Go to Shedtime Podcast. You know the deal. You can check me out on Friday nights on Frames Jankel and Vapor for the Green Room. We got a build-off coming up this week. If you're listening to this episode before the first week of March, whatever the first Friday in March is. Oh, no. Yeah. Today is the 28th.
Yeah.
Yep.
My bad.
You
I
want
thought
it.
that I was like reading the fucking date wrong. And then you can also check me out on Tuesday nights on KBTV's YouTube channel for Mixing It Up. If you guys want to get a little bit of a lesson on how you can get some DIY. The chat's been really rolling lately. So there's lots of real skilled mixers in there, as well as, you know, you can pick up any kind of tips and tricks from us on the panel. And you can also go to Uncle Chris Testing Grounds. Check that out. If you want some enjoyable custards,
Good.
have at her. I am working on some things, so hopefully by the end of the month, this one that's going to come up, actually, the end of March, you guys might be hearing about them. So I'm excited for that. Remember to use the code SHEDTIME, save you a little bit of cash. And I think that's everything that I wanted to say. So I'm just going to throw it over to Ashton and let him take it away.
Well. Another Shedhead session is coming to an end. And it's just a good one. I love these ones where we come up with a good idea. Shout out to Uncle Chris with this one because he just pitched it and it ended up being a really
Home
good.
run.
It's fucking awesome. So with that being said, if you guys haven't 5-star reviews or just follow us on fucking SoundCloud, because if you're not doing that by now, you're missing out on all the good shit. And if you guys haven't followed me, Palmer's Powders on Instagram, Facebook, palmerspowders.com on the web. And shedtimepodcast.com for all your goodies, because that's just where all the good shit's at. With that being said, moderation's key, guys. James, what you got?
All right. Of course, thank you to all the Shedheads for tuning in. As always, check the SoundCloud. As always, follow, do the things. Just do it, guys. Please. You know, you guys can get some cool shit if you do it. You know, I mean, we got some giveaways and we want to give some stuff to you, but we can't do that until you follow us. So please do that. And of course, like I've said, 5-star reviews. That'd be awesome. Of course, you guys check us out over on the website. You guys already know ShedTimePodcast.com. Yeah, I totally stole that, but it sounds awesome.
.com.
But just go over there, go check it out. One-stop shop for all that good stuff. Check me out on my YouTube channel, Frames Jangle Vapor. Like Chris said, every Friday for the Green Room. We do have that build-off. So if any of you guys want to come on and challenge us, you know, send us an email. Go check the end of the Green Room last Friday if you want to know what the options are as far as RDAs. Send us an email. I'd love to see one of you guys come on and see if you could take us out and make your way to the Battle of Champions. With that, of course, you check me out, Vaping with the Omies, every Monday on the Vaping with the Omies YouTube channel, Coon Sauce with Nasty and KBTV. We'd love to see you guys there having an Omies hangout. So if you guys want to hang out with us on the show, send us an email to vapingwiththehomies@gmail.com. And you guys can hang out with us there. Of course, I don't think I really got anything else to say except for I'm going to send out all those positive vibes. Crisp, high fives, wow. And Over to you, Sean.
Yo, so, like the fellas already told you, ShedTimePodcast.com is your place for all things Shedtime Podcast. And on top of that, next week, you guys asked for it, and we're going to bring it to you. We're finally going to get into some fucking conspiracy shit.
God damn, it is about time.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I'm from Idaho. That doesn't mean I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I do read about them.
So, what excites me, guys, is... we got some friends of ours coming in to do this with us. These guys, they got a show. You can find them on all the major podcasting platforms, just like us. It's called the Brew Illuminati Podcast. And they're talking beer and conspiracy theories on their show. And they do some really, really great content. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little jealous. Their production quality is NPR level, crispy clean. So, yeah, they're going to make us look like a bunch of idiots. But hey, if you want to hear some great conspiracy talk.
They're also not going to be high as fuck. Well, they might be.
They might. Who knows? They're gonna at least drink a beer with us. So we'll get stoned. They'll drink a beer.
I got some in the mini fridge ready to rock, dude.
See?
I got some sours I've been waiting to get into.
Cool, man. So they'll drink a beer with us, and they're gonna talk about conspiracies with us, which ought to be a whole lot of fun, because, you know, conspiracy shit. And you guys asked for it, and we're giving it to you. So I'm excited to make it happen. But yeah, Shedtime Podcast.
Full hat ready.
Yeah, dude. ShedTimePodcast.com. That's how you can stay up to date every time a new episode drops. Of course, all the links are there to the sponsors. You know, we will stay on top of things and let you know how things go with our different sponsors and their retail establishments as developments continue. I know some of our friends and affiliates are shutting down, so we will keep you abreast of that. I believe you will be losing lucidrda.com soon as an option.
Yeah.
So we will update that as soon as that comes to pass. But yeah, guys, I want to thank everybody for listening. It means the world to all of us. Of course, shout out to the patrons over there on Patreon. If you guys want to go ahead and support the Shedtime Podcast,
Much love.
You can go right to the website. We got a link to it, or of course, patreon.com/shedtime. You can go ahead and sign up. There's 3 different tiers, so you can just be a good mensch and donate $1, or you can go hardcore and go all the way up to $10 and get a whole bunch of extra content. So that's all up to you guys, but we thank every last one of you for listening. And with that, I'm going to bring it like I always do. So I'm going to tell you, don't let the bastards get you down. Be cool. Don't be a dick. Whatever it is that you do, make sure you make it fun, because this is the Shedtime Podcast, and it's time for us to roll on up and roll on out.